When we think of epic war films, Saving Private Ryan, 1998, inevitably stands at the top. Directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Robert Rodat, the film didn't just depict the brutalities of World War II, it redefined the war genre for modern audiences. It took a story inspired by real-life events and turned it into an unforgettable cinematic experience, blending raw emotional depth with military realism. The 24-minute opening D-Day sequence is now iconic, hailed as one of the most visceral portrayals of battle ever filmed. But beneath the surface of this monumental film lies a wealth of behind-the-scenes stories, some of which are just as remarkable as the movie itself. Let's dive into 30 lesser-known facts about Saving Private Ryan that will give you a deeper appreciation for the film, its cast, and the sheer craftsmanship that went into making it. 1. Inspiration from the Nyland brothers. Saving Private Ryan draws partial inspiration from the real-life story of the Nyland brothers, a family of 4 American siblings who served in World War II. When 3 of them were believed dead, the U.S. Army invoked the sole survivor policy to send the 4th brother, Fritz Nyland, home. Later, one of the presumed deceased siblings was discovered alive in a Japanese POW camp. This twist imbues the film's premise with an added layer of poignancy. By depicting how an entire military system could be mobilized to protect a single surviving brother, the film underscores the immense sacrifices families made during wartime. Viewers are thus introduced to a narrative steeped in both large-scale conflict and deeply personal stakes, demonstrating how the horror of war reverberates through individual lives. 2. Not based on the Sullivan brothers. Although many associate the sole survivor concept with the tragic story of the 5 Sullivan brothers, Saving Private Ryan is not based on their experience. The Sullivan siblings all died when the USS Juneau was sunk in 1942, prompting the Navy to reconsider family-serving policies. However, screenwriter Robert Rodat focused on the Nyland family's circumstances instead, weaving a storyline that mirrored the heartbreak of losing multiple sons but was distinct from the Sullivans' saga. The overlap in events sometimes leads to confusion among viewers, yet each family's ordeal highlights different facets of war's merciless toll. By clarifying that the film's primary influence came from the Nylands, audiences can better appreciate the complexities and varieties of wartime tragedies that spurred official policies aimed at preventing total familial loss. 3. The spark behind the script. Screenwriter Robert Rodat found his inspiration while reading Stephen Ambrose's D-Day, June 6, 1944, and subsequently visiting a monument honoring families who had lost multiple sons in combat. Struck by the immense collective sacrifice symbolized on those memorial plaques, Rodat wondered how such a scenario would play out if a mission were launched to rescue one surviving soldier for the sake of a grieving family. This concept formed the bedrock of Saving Private Ryan, offering a mix of historical authenticity and speculative dramatization. The film's thematic power lies in Rodat's ability to transform battlefield heroics into a deeply human story. Rather than merely chronicling grand military operations, he forces viewers to confront the profound emotional costs borne by individuals and their loved ones. 4. Spielberg and Hanks's first collaboration, Saving Private Ryan, marked the first official collaboration between director Steven Spielberg and actor Tom Hanks, a partnership that would flourish in later works like Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, and Bridge of Spies. Spielberg believed Hanks's affable demeanor and ability to communicate empathy were perfect for Captain John Miller, a man thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Under Spielberg's vision, Hanks delivered a layered performance that balanced quiet leadership with palpable vulnerability. This chemistry not only anchored the film, but also paved the way for future creative endeavors between the two Hollywood icons. Their partnership illuminated the delicate interplay between a director's storytelling sensibilities and an actor's natural warmth, culminating in a portrayal that resonated deeply with audiences. 5. Matt Damon's surprise stardom. When Spielberg cast Matt Damon as Private Ryan, Damon was still relatively unknown, selected for his fresh-faced, all-American look. Unexpectedly, Good Will Hunting, co-written by Damon, scored a major critical triumph, earning him an Academy Award before Saving Private Ryan was released. This sudden leap to stardom reshaped perceptions of Damon, whose newfound prominence added intrigue to his portrayal of a lost paratrooper. Despite the shift in Damon's status, Spielberg retained his choice because Damon's earnest, youthful aura remained crucial to the role. The outcome gave the film an appealing tension. Damon's emerging reputation clashed with the character's humble anonymity, illustrating Private Ryan's symbolic embodiment of the countless young soldiers thrust into chaos. 6. Grueling boot camp for the cast. Most of the principal cast endured a daunting 10-day boot camp under the guidance of Vietnam War veteran Dale Dye, who specialized in immersing actors in authentic military experiences. This grueling regimen included long marches, sleepless nights, physical drills, and exposure to harsh weather. Cast members ate military rations known as MREs and coped with limited rest, mirroring the relentless fatigue actual W2 soldiers faced. The purpose was twofold: toughening the actors physically and forging real-world camaraderie that would translate on screen. By recreating the conditions of a combat environment, Spielberg ensured that every grimace, complaint, and shared moment of exhaustion felt utterly genuine, blurring the line between performance and reality. 7. Damon's exclusion from boot camp. In a deliberate choice, Spielberg exempted Matt Damon from the boot camp to generate genuine resentment among the other cast members. His character, Private Ryan, is the subject of a rescue mission that the squad internally questions, creating emotional friction rooted in the perceived favoritism. Excluding Damon allowed the others to experience discomfort and exhaustion while he remained relatively unscathed, paralleling the soldiers' frustrations about risking their lives for a single individual. This tactical move enriched the group dynamics, fueling a sense of exasperation that surfaced naturally in key scenes. Spielberg's approach, though unconventional, underscored the importance of genuine emotion in war narratives, anchoring the tension in lived experience rather than mere scripted drama. 8. Actors considered leaving due to boot camp. The boot camp's punishing conditions nearly drove some actors, such as Edward Burns, to quit. Freezing temperatures, wet uniforms, and unrelenting physical demands tested their resolve daily. However, Tom Hanks encouraged them to persist, emphasizing that this hardship would lend vital credibility to their performances. A unanimous decision to endure ultimately strengthened the ensemble, mirroring how real soldiers often bond through adversity. The cast's shared trial produced authentic relationships and believable group chemistry as exhaustion and camaraderie mingled in ways a typical Hollywood set rarely replicates. Their collective decision to keep going proved essential in shaping Saving Private Ryan's raw, immersive portrayal of a wartime unit on a perilous mission. 9. Realism of the Omaha Beach sequence. Often cited as one of the most harrowing battle scenes in cinematic history, the Omaha Beach sequence cost approximately $11 to $12 million and utilized 1,500 extras, including members of the Irish Army Reserves. Spielberg enlisted amputees with prosthetic limbs to portray realistic wartime injuries, intensifying the authenticity. Over 20 minutes of relentless gunfire, explosions, and frantic camera work created a sensory onslaught that left audiences reeling. Spielberg aimed to immerse viewers in the terrifying confusion of a beachfront landing under constant enemy fire. The innovative use of handheld cameras, swift editing, and strategic sound design rendered the scene brutally real. This approach, unflinching in its depiction of combat, reshaped public expectations of how war could be portrayed on film. 10. Filming in Ireland to replicate Normandy. Due to stringent preservation rules in Normandy, Spielberg's team relocated to Ballinesker and Curracloe beaches in Ireland. These locations mirrored the coastal topography of Omaha Beach and allowed large-scale recreations of bunkers, barbed wire, and landing obstacles. The crew utilized substantial props, such as fake blood, reportedly up to 40 barrels, to realistically show the battle's carnage. Ireland's collaboration proved crucial, with local extras and soldiers contributing to massive crowd scenes. Painstaking attention to historical details, from uniform insignias to the placement of machine gun nests, helped transport viewers back to June 6, 1944. By turning Irish shores into a convincing double-coup battlefield, Saving Private Ryan gave modern audiences a chillingly authentic glimpse of D-Day. 11th. PTSD trigger for World War II veterans. The film's depiction of D-Day was so intense that it triggered PTSD in some World War II veterans who watched it. Many older veterans reported flashbacks to real-life combat experiences, leading the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs to set up special hotlines for those needing psychological support. While praised for its faithful representation of history, the sequence inadvertently reopened deep emotional wounds. This phenomenon underscored the profound power of visual media to evoke visceral memories. Many veterans, despite reliving trauma, commended Spielberg's commitment to honesty, acknowledging that while the experience was painful, it was a meaningful tribute to those who served. For modern viewers, this reaction illuminated the enduring scars of war that never fully heal. 12. Stephen Ambrose's emotional reaction. Stephen Ambrose, whose book D-Day, June 6, 1944, influenced the film's creative direction, found the realism so overwhelming that he had to stop watching after 20 minutes. Ambrose had spent decades interviewing veterans and cataloging their accounts, yet witnessing the carnage brought to life on screen proved emotionally overpowering. This reaction testified to Spielberg's success in capturing the raw immediacy of combat. For historians and war scholars, Ambrose's response underscored the film's rare capacity to convert historical documentation into an intensely personal, cinematic experience. It also served as further evidence that the production's meticulous detail and emotional grit aligned closely with authentic soldier testimonies, bridging the gap between academic analysis and empathetic storytelling. 13. Filming in chronological order. A notable departure from industry norms, Spielberg insisted on filming Saving Private Ryan mostly in chronological order. This method allowed the actors to experience their characters' progression organically, mirroring the squad's journey deeper into war-torn France. As the weeks of shooting wore on, cast members grew visibly fatigued, reflecting the psychological toll of their fictional mission. By maintaining the storyline sequence, Spielberg cultivated genuine emotional arcs that might have been lost in a conventional shoot. This practice, though logistically challenging, contributed to the film's unsettling realism. Actors discovered their roles' deeper nuances in real time, forging tight ensemble chemistry and producing performances fueled by accumulated exhaustion and intensity. 14. No storyboards for action scenes. Rather than following traditional pre-planned visuals, Spielberg chose not to storyboard the film's largest action sequences. He embraced a handheld, on-the-fly shooting style to recreate the confusion of actual battle. This approach gave the camera operators freedom to roam amid explosions and scrambling extras, capturing unscripted moments of terror. Inspired by archival World War II newsreels, Spielberg favored the frenetic realism of shaky images and abrupt angles. The unpredictability also forced the cast to remain in character throughout the mayhem, heightening the documentary-like authenticity. By sacrificing the control that storyboards normally provide, Spielberg injected each skirmish with an unhinged energy, ensuring the audience felt the chaos rather than merely observed it. 15th. Desaturated color scheme. Cinematographer Janusz Kaminski deliberately desaturated the film's color palette by about 60% to echo the monochromatic look of period war footage. This design choice gave Saving Private Ryan its signature grayish, washed-out appearance, evoking both documentary realism and the somber mood of conflict. Although some viewers initially complained about the subdued hues, this visual style effectively reinforced the film's somber tone. By removing vibrant colors, Kaminski emphasized the grim realities of warfare. Blood, mud, and smoke all bled into a palette devoid of comfort. The resulting aesthetic resembled aged photographs, suggesting a direct link to the 1940s and a haunting reflection on how each soldier's story could be lost to time if not documented. 16. Tom Sizemore's drug tests. Tom Sizemore, cast as the steadfast Sergeant Horvath, struggled with heroin addiction during production. Spielberg insisted on daily drug tests, threatening to reshoot all of Sizemore's scenes if any test came back positive. Under this pressure, Sizemore managed to remain sober and immersed himself fully in his role. His on-screen intensity and determined loyalty mirrored the perseverance he displayed off-screen. This behind-the-scenes conflict added a layer of reality to Horvath's portrayal, depicting a man focused on protecting his squad at all costs. Spielberg's decision to stick with Sizemore despite his struggles indicated both a commitment to the actor's talent and an understanding that war stories often involve redemption under severe stress. 17. Other actors considered for the lead roles. Before Tom Hanks was selected to play Captain Miller, Spielberg contemplated casting figures like Mel Gibson or Harrison Ford. However, Hanks's relatable aura and capacity for earnest emotion proved central to the film's narrative. He conveyed Miller's underlying fear, moral duty, and reluctant heroism with subtlety. The choice aligned perfectly with Spielberg's desire for an everyman thrust into turmoil. Meanwhile, for supporting roles, various actors, such as Billy Bob Thornton, were considered but declined for reasons ranging from scheduling to phobias. These near misses highlight the unpredictable nature of casting. Final selections often hinge on intangible chemistry between actor, director, and script, shaping the film's ultimate tone and resonance. 18. Billy Bob Thornton's role. Rejection. Billy Bob Thornton was initially approached for the role of Sergeant Horvath, but reportedly declined due to a fear of water, significant because of the beach landing sequences. This unexpected turn led Spielberg to stick with Tom Sizemore instead. Thornton's unique acting style might have offered a different edge to the character, but Sizemore's rugged demeanor and personal trials brought distinctive grit to Horvath. The anecdote illustrates how practical concerns, like an actor's phobia, can dramatically influence casting decisions. Ultimately, Sizemore's performance became a key element of the film's emotional core, embodying unwavering devotion and realism that complemented Hanks's steadier leadership. 19. Edward Norton's missed opportunity. Edward Norton was offered the part of Private Ryan, but he chose to pursue American History X, a role that earned him critical acclaim. This decision left the door open for Matt Damon, whose breakthrough matched the character's innocence and moral center. Norton's intensity might have taken Ryan in a different direction, but Damon's boyish sincerity served the film's narrative goal: to depict a young soldier haunted by his brother's losses. Each actor's path underscores Hollywood's unpredictable nature, where scheduling, personal interest, and career strategy intertwine. Damon's casting ultimately contributed to the film's timeless reflection on duty and the fragile bond between sacrifice and survival. 20. Robin Williams' role in Damon's casting. Robin Williams, who co-starred with Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, played a pivotal role in introducing Damon to Steven Spielberg. During filming in Boston, Williams arranged for Damon to meet Spielberg, which led to Damon's swift casting in Saving Private Ryan. This serendipitous link exemplifies the significance of personal connections in Hollywood, where friendships can open doors that might otherwise remain closed. Williams's mentorship and support bolstered Damon's early career, reinforcing the notion that behind every successful actor often stands a network of allies. Damon's casting thus emerged from both talent and goodwill, merging to shape the film's touching portrayal of a young soldier worth saving. 21st. Czech soldiers in German uniforms. In a brief but poignant moment, 2 German soldiers are shot while surrendering, only they're actually speaking Czech, a nod to the Ost battalions of World War II. Many Eastern Europeans were conscripted by the German army under dire conditions, forced to fight for a regime they didn't support. By including this subtle detail, Spielberg highlighted a lesser-known complexity of the war. Not all individuals in German uniform fought willingly. This scene underscores the moral chaos on the battlefield, where language barriers and snap decisions meant life or death. It also enriches the film's historical depth, reminding viewers that the lines of allegiance were sometimes tragically blurred. 22nd. Damon's ad-libbed monologue, Private Ryan's emotional barn monologue detailing a memory involving his brothers and a girl, was largely improvised by Matt Damon. Spielberg encouraged spontaneity, believing an unplanned moment would capture raw authenticity. Damon delivered a heartfelt recollection that illustrates Ryan's survivor's guilt and longing for the days before war upended his life. By granting Damon creative freedom, Spielberg obtained a scene that feels deeply personal, bridging the gap between actor and character. This improvisational element highlights the value of trust between director and performer, yielding a vulnerability and immediacy that scripted dialogue sometimes struggles to achieve. 23rd. Hanks's shortened speech. Originally, Captain Miller had a longer backstory monologue describing his civilian life as a schoolteacher. Tom Hanks, however, felt that Miller, as a reserved leader, would divulge only limited details about his past. Spielberg agreed, cutting the speech down to key lines that left Miller's home life more enigmatic. This narrative choice gave Miller a quiet gravitas, inviting viewers to imagine the personal sacrifices he made for the war effort. In omitting lengthy exposition, the film intensified each small revelation about Miller, aligning with his stoic resolve under fire. The sparse dialogue imbued Miller with a gentle mystery, reinforcing his role as a reluctant soldier bound by duty. 24. Ramel set construction. The climactic battle in the fictional French town of Ramel was filmed on a specially built set at Hatfield Aerodrome in the UK. Over 4 months, production designers constructed ruined buildings, twisted rubble, and shattered infrastructure, using salvaged materials to lend authenticity. Streets were littered with debris, burnt-out vehicles, and bullet-ridden walls, creating a war-torn landscape. This painstaking effort allowed Spielberg total control over camera movements and pyrotechnics, amplifying the film's dramatic tension. The crew aimed for realistic devastation that mirrored actual urban combat scenes from World War II. By situating the final act amidst meticulously crafted ruins, Saving Private Ryan concluded on a devastating note of unrelenting warfare, underscoring the film's unflinching stance on the brutality of conflict. 25. Tiger Tank Replica. A genuine German Tiger tank was unavailable, so the production team modified a Russian T-34/85 to imitate a Tiger, adjusting its turret shape, wheels, and silhouette. These changes gave the vehicle enough resemblance to convince most viewers it was an authentic World War II Tiger. Such ingenuity exemplified the filmmaker's determination to depict accurate enemy equipment. Though purists might spot discrepancies, the majority of audiences remained immersed in the drama. This attention to detail also reflected Spielberg's broader vision. Historical authenticity, whenever possible, grounded the film's storytelling. By replicating the imposing presence of a Tiger tank, the climactic battle gained an added layer of menace and authenticity. 26. Box office. Success. Despite its unflinching portrayal of war's brutality, Saving Private Ryan became a resounding commercial hit, earning approximately $481.8 million worldwide. In 1998, it finished second only to Armageddon in box office takings, surprising critics who doubted mainstream audiences would flock to such a dark war narrative. The film's triumph evidenced a public appetite for stories that fused historical realism with profound emotional arcs. Spielberg's balanced approach, showcasing heroic camaraderie without glamorizing violence, resonated deeply. Its box office performance paved the way for more serious war dramas to attract wide acclaim. In merging blockbuster spectacle with historical significance, Saving Private Ryan demonstrated the enduring power of well-crafted storytelling. 27th, Veterans Day airings. Recognizing its poignant resonance, American television network ABC broadcast Saving Private Ryan Uncut on Veterans Day in 2001, 2002, and 2004, with reduced commercial interruptions. This decision honored the film's respectful homage to World War II veterans, ensuring the raw intensity remained intact. However, some affiliates refused to air the film in 2004, fearing potential fines from the Federal Communications Commission due to explicit violence and language. This controversy underscored the tension between creative integrity and broadcast standards. Ultimately, many viewers praised the unedited broadcasts, noting that sanitizing such harrowing images would dilute the film's memorial purpose. The gesture highlighted how mass media platforms can pay tribute to veterans by preserving realism rather than diluting it. 28th Academy Awards. Snub nominated for 11 Oscars, Saving Private Ryan secured 5 wins, including Best Director for Spielberg, yet controversially lost Best Picture to Shakespeare in Love. Many critics and filmgoers have since labeled this one of the Academy's most contentious decisions, arguing that Saving Private Ryan's cultural impact and groundbreaking war scenes merited the top prize. Spielberg's direction was widely praised, and the film's influence on the war genre remains undeniable. Debate lingers over how much industry politics, marketing campaigns, or the Academy's preference for lighter fare affected the outcome. Regardless, Saving Private Ryan endures as a modern classic that redefined cinematic depictions of combat. 29th. Banned in India, initial attempts to release Saving Private Ryan in India met with resistance from the censor board, which objected to the graphic violence and realistic gore. Spielberg refused to edit or tone down the brutal content, as it was integral to his truthful portrayal of war's horror. Only after intervention by the Indian Home Minister was the film eventually approved and shown in its entirety. This episode demonstrated how different cultural and governmental standards impact a film's global distribution. Spielberg's stance illustrated his commitment to maintaining the film's integrity, highlighting that sanitizing or romanticizing war would contradict its central mission, honoring real soldiers' sacrifices through honest, unfiltered representation. 30. A tribute to Spielberg's father. Spielberg created Saving Private Ryan partly as a tribute to his father, Arnold Spielberg, who served as a radio operator during World War II. Despite being a major commercial success, the film's primary motivation was never box office glory. For Spielberg, it was an emotional endeavor to capture the valor, camaraderie, and harrowing trauma his father's generation endured. Arnold Spielberg's pride in his son's accomplishment underscored the personal dimension fueling the project. By pouring his own family's connection to World War II into the film's DNA, Spielberg ensured each scene carried sincere respect for veterans. This reverence, fused with innovative filmmaking, cemented Saving Private Ryan as both a milestone in war cinema and a heartfelt testament to the greatest generation's sacrifices. And there you have it, a comprehensive journey through the riveting facts and behind-the-scenes secrets that shaped Saving Private Ryan. From the film's roots in the Nyland brothers' wartime ordeal, through the actor's brutal boot camp, to the unflinching Omaha Beach invasion sequence, each facet underlines Steven Spielberg's commitment to authenticity. His collaboration with Tom Hanks, the casting of a then-unknown Matt Damon, and the clever choice of filming locations all contributed to an enduring cinematic milestone that resonates with audiences to this day. Ultimately, Saving Private Ryan stands not only as a tribute to those who served in World War II, embodied by Spielberg's own father, but also as a testament to the power of storytelling to capture the fragility and valor of the human spirit in times of conflict. Whether you come away reflecting on the film's harrowing realism or its profound sense of camaraderie, one thing is certain. The sacrifices it portrays continue to echo through history, reminding us of the resilience and courage that defined an entire generation.